Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to AFNI HQ. So be you Clydeside, Stateside or worldwide, get Falcon set, time to stoop and prepare yourselves because the Scottish Falcons present proudly flagshipping as always the Atlanta Falcons Nation international expansion. It's time to step into the Locher-Room. But before we do that, I'm proud to present my co-host with the most for tonight. He's doing double duty with us, boys and girls, all the way from Lubbock, Texas, El Paso. And it's time to, as I say, welcome him back because he's a man that I'm going to be leaning on going forward. We have a lot of good things to kind of get into, but that's behind the scenes. That's a bit too much red tape. But before we get into anything like that, there's a few elephants in the room as it pertains to a whole different level of football. This time we're not talking Falcons. This time we want to speak about college ball, the NCAA situation, particularly the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And interestingly enough, you guys know I make no secret of the fact that I am a University of Texas Longhorns fan, and these guys have been lobbying, ladies and gentlemen, to get a game against us this season. But without any further ado, this pertains to their QB1, that being Brendan Sorsby. Now, Raymond, you were the first to kind of propose this, you and Winston. So obviously, QB at Texas Tech, he has been essentially found out to have been match betting on his own team's games. But I also found this little tidbit for you. This two-time transfer, it was not his first time because he was also caught betting on games when he was a redshirt freshman at Indiana as well. So obviously, I'd like you to kind of go into that. But as I last seen, we can get into obviously where he's gone. But as we saw before the NFL announcement was made, obviously he lobbied for an appeal that was at first denied, and then the injunction was granted, making him eligible for the 2026 season. Now, I know that you were quite reticent that you wanted to speak on this, so I'm going to let you take the floor, sir. The mic is yours.
I appreciate it, Will. A lot to discuss, as you mentioned to everybody. Hello, Ray Falcon here from Lubbock, Texas, and give you a little background. I've been a Tech fan since I was a little boy, 6, 7 years old, drawing the old double T, coloring it, plastering on my wall in a little small town about an hour north of the university. So the way I got to be a Texas Tech fan was as I was growing up, there were Texas Tech fan kids, students, classmates. I think we had one Texas A&M Aggie. We had a couple of UT Longhorn fans, but the majority of the town, since we lived so close to the university, was Texas Tech. So I kind of fell into that and followed them and fell in love with the university, football, the basketball program, and everything. And so I was a little boy watching games on TV, but a lot of it was word of mouth, how Tech was doing. The older I got, the more I got to follow them. Eventually, my two of my sons would attend Texas Tech University, so my funds and my money went to Texas Tech. My second oldest got his bachelor's and his master's at Texas Tech University in sports kinesiology. And then my third oldest went to as a sophomore and is currently taking a break from going to universities, kind of just hanging out. And so as the result of the Sorsby kind of NIL and Tech putting a lot of money into the transfer portal last year, they showed that money can build you a great football program. They were able to get into the college football playoffs. So in the off season, they're looking to come on from, I believe his name is Hammond, was with the first QB. He suffered an Achilles heel. And so we're looking for a quarterback. Sorsby's in the transfer portal, and Texas Tech, we're the biggest, we're the highest bidder. Whatever anyone is paying you, we can double it, no problem. So Texas Tech has a club called the Matador Club, where all these donors, Cody Campbell is in there, the big oilman, landman here at the university, funding all this athletics. They also purchased high pitchers for softball, and we went to the World's College Series in softball. And so the money shows that you can build these programs. So we threw out $5.5 million to Sorsby. We stole him from Cincinnati, the highest bidder. And we knew that he was going to be a high prospect NFL draft, that this guy was going to come in and take us to a national championship. And so we're all set. We're all ready to go. And of course, Cincinnati, a little pissed off that we stole Sorsby. He leaves a contract, living $1 million on the table for Cincinnati. They go after him. And so he comes to us. And so I think a little bit of animosity, a little bit of anger. Somehow the information that Sorsby was gambling reaches Texas Tech and reaches the NCAA, and immediately Sorsby gets out of the public view and goes into rehab for 30 days. And that was basically him to get away from the media so he wouldn't get any type of information, and then to show that he's already getting into treatment and so forth.
I understand where you're coming from. It's something that we're definitely going to get into in more detail, and I know this is something that you covered too, and it's good to have you back, because I did message you in the DMs and let you know that we did owe you a debut, because last time the Tech was not with us, but we're glad to be joined by Mr. Vic Tube Productions. Vic, good to have you back, my brother. Let's hope that the technology holds this time, but we're thrilled to have you back, sir.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And how are you feeling about the Brendan Sorsby situation? I know
what I think, yes, that yes. First of all, I guess we'll talk about the decision that was made by the court. I mean, I don't really agree with it. I think the whole gambling thing, like you're not allowed to bet, on college football while you're playing college football or in any sport. The players are not allowed to bet on the games. That's always been, the rule. I feel like that's really important to the integrity of the game. That you're not allowed to bet, and that's strictly enforced, because you might be able to rig a game or whatever, and just calls into question the whole integrity. So,
and that's something that I would agree with. Integrity is quite a strong word that you would choose there, Vic, because you need to remember, and I think we forget in a lot of these cases, and I'm sure you can back me up on this too, Ray, that a lot of these kids should not be millionaires. I feel like they're not evolved enough as human beings to handle that type of money, and we start to see situations that we don't want to see, because they have this money, they have this freedom, and they have this position. But at the same time, NIL is definitely something that we're going to discuss a little bit later on in the show, because I kind of wanted to make this a sort of overview. Obviously, as the title says, so there's a lot of kind of to get into. It's not just betting, it's not just NIL, it's not even just the portal. It's all of these things. It boils down to reputation, as you say, Vic, integrity. Right. It's quite a broad question that you answer, but as you say, it's there in black and white in the NCAA rules that you cannot bet while you're actively competing, and that's what he done. You saw, look at our Falcons as well. You saw the punishment that Calvin Ridley was lobbied with when he was caught when he was off an injury doing a little bit of wheeling and dealing. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, why college football should be more lenient?
They suspended him for the for an entire season. So.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the other part is how the Texas Tech admin responded to his gambling. Like it was an addiction, like it was a drug addiction. He was getting treatment, but they never addressed that he was probably gambling as a Tech student too. He was here in January, and there's softball games going on, there's basketball games going on, and I guarantee you he's betting on campus. And I think it came out that he was actually betting while he was here at Texas Tech. And so how the admin just kind of blew it off and just kind of put a cover over it and saying that, oh, we're here for his mental health, and the best thing for him is to get back on the field. And so there's a lot of people in town that kind of disagree with that, particularly those who are coaches at our high schools here in town in Lubbock, who are the middle school coaches, who are city league coaches in football, basketball, high school, middle school. And as a high school coach and as a middle school coach, it was even discussed. It was a golden rule that you didn't do anything, any form that you would harm your own teammates. And to determine an outcome of a game, depending on you betting, you go all the way back to the Chicago White Sox, you go back to the Pete Rose. Those were very, very detrimental and historical situations that changed how we viewed those individuals that were betting. And so as a high school coaches around the state of Texas would come to Texas Tech, and they would hear Coach McGuire. They respected him when he was a high school coach at Cedar Hill, Texas. And these coaches from around, they would go to the best coaches, the state champions. They hold clinics. And so all of these coaches had great respect for Coach McGuire at Texas Tech University. And so now that you turned your back and you said that it's okay for a football player to come on your team that has been known gambling, it really was hurtful and detrimental to those college coaches that played against Texas Tech, those high school coaches that went here and told, this is what you do. We don't gamble. And so I think there was a lot of respect lost for the head coach, for the admin, for the university. That's going to keep on going. And it's been stated, if you were to pick the most hated university right now, it would be Texas Tech. Before it could have been Michigan. Before it could have been whoever. Now it's Texas Tech.
So they knew.
And
So
every
they
game that we
knew.
go, every
So
football
they.
game, there's going to be a bullseye on our back.
So they knew that he had been betting on games before they took him out of the portal.
You know, it's hard to say if they knew, but usually before you do a transfer portal, you always go to those universities that kid played for, and you say, how was he as an individual? How was his ethics? How was his morals? And sometimes money surpasses all of those, because we won a championship.
We know the old saying, money talks and bullshit walks, but this for me is a case of, we don't know whether it was retrospective. Because if he's been found to have been wheeling and dealing at Tech, then they will have done their due diligence, looked back, and then perhaps found, oh no, this isn't his first time, because he's been at this since his Indiana days as well. So I can neither confirm nor deny which would be the case. But in either light, I'm respectful against the teams that I don't rep, especially inside the SEC. I've got a lot of love for the Georgia Bulldogs and things like that. But I mean, when you talk about Texas Tech, I was looking forward to that game. I feel like there's a lot of good guys on that roster. There certainly was last year. You know how much how high I was on Lee Hunter coming in out the draft. I made no secrets of that. I had a bit of a man crush on him for a second. But all that being said, I did lose respect for Tech. When you guys broke that to me, I was like, nah. With, pardon my language, fuck this game. It tarnished your ability to field a convincing game against us, because I was like, I ain't playing into that. We have enough games to worry about with Florida, Oregon State, Ohio State again, Bama, Georgia, should we see them in the SEC title down the road. But to get there, we need to not be worrying about what Tech are doing if we don't see them this year. But with that being said, there's a reason why I kind of highlighted it in the topic, because this isn't just a negative look for the Red Raiders. It's wider. It's much wider than that. It affects the whole NCAA. or at least the whole FBS, because I mean, yeah, NIL plays into that, as we'll speak to in a little bit. I have a list of the top, I think it's the top 20 colleges by NIL, and the number one might surprise you, it might not. It's actually my University of Texas Longhorns. I mean,
Yeah, so you think
football,
that
sorry.
that's why they kick Sorsby off the team because of all the backlash that they were getting.
I would say
Oh, come on, Vic. They didn't kick him off the
Yes,
team.
they probably
Wink, wink. He
well, they
he
probably
walked
gave
away.
him
Wink,
they
wink.
probably gave him some money and said see you later. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
interesting because before the day he made himself eligible for the NFL draft, supplemental draft, 3 days before that, the admin were 110% behind him. So I think Tech was going to do anything they could to keep him here, pay him that $5.5 million, get into the college football playoffs, and deal with the whole situation all year long. They were ready to do that because they wanted him here, and they knew probably that he had some situations that we won't get him anyway.
Yeah.
Once he turned around 3 days later and decided to go to the NFL supplemental draft, I thought immediately it was his choice and his choice alone because there's too much heat. There's going to be too much heat. University of Michigan volleyball girls canceled the game against Texas Tech for this reason. So
Wow.
the repercussions were going to go to other sports where they were like, if you're going to accept somebody that's gambling, we're not going to play you. We're going to cancel. So Oklahoma athletic director got in on it. Michigan athletic director, Nebraska, and I think there's the one from there was another
Georgia.
one,
Yeah,
Georgia.
yeah, I think Georgia was on
They're
it
all
too,
canceling,
yeah.
and so now he knew the best thing for him to do is get out. And I think pressure probably from some outside sources, but I think ultimately it was too much for him to handle, and I think he
Oh.
wasn't going to survive it.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that you think that he left on his own.
Absolutely, because
Oh,
Texas Tech 3
Okay.
days ago were 110% behind. They wanted him
Yeah,
here,
like,
no
they
matter
wouldn't have
what.
had any
If it came
information
out
in
that he
that
gambled $1
insurance
million,
No.
if he was gonna be suspended just 2 days, those two preseason games, and then start when the season started, the Big 12 competition, that was something that was permanently and created for a program for him to start playing. But I think it was him only, and probably speaking to his parents, his family, saying, you're going to get too much heat and you're going to get so much hate. Go to the NFL. Now, here's the other problem. Former NFL players, current NFL players, how they feel about accepting the teammate that's been gambling in college. He's going to have a lot of questions and a lot of credibility questioning him when he enters the locker room.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
If he goes.
Let's get into that, boys, because I mean, as you said, he has now declared that he's set to part ways, enter the supplemental draft, and obviously let the chips fall where they may. And obviously, I've got a quote here saying that somebody's going to take a shot on that dude. Now, I've seen some teams listed, the Clevelands, the Miamis of the world. I'm not going to rock the boat. Cincinnati, but I don't want to rock the boat. You know what that our logo was on that shit too. No.
I mean, yeah, maybe the Falcons should take him. Yeah.
I'd rather
maybe we
not.
should take him.
I'd rather not. Like truly, I would rather call like 46-year-old Philip Rivers and go, listen, brother.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco again. Joe Flacco's
Joe Flacco, yeah.
You want to run one more round? I don't care. No, literally, I rebuke those sorts of comments. Like I will get along. You know I'm an easy guy to get along with, boys. I've made it very simple, but it's like, stop trying to cause trouble. I think you're trying to anger me now. Like you're trolling me.
Here's another thing that just absolutely boils my hide. Texas Tech is not going to look to gotta get that $5.5 million back from Sorsby. They're gonna let him keep it and walk away.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I
That is
don't
Yeah,
foresee
that
a
is
world
they're gonna
crazy.
let
where
him keep his money.
That is crazy.
Well, I mean,
It's just sets a
well, I
bad
thought it's not
precedent.
their
Like,
money; it's the booster money. But yeah,
I mean,
well,
he
yeah,
played a spring game for us. He played a spring game for us. He threw whatever touchdowns. That was his $5.5 million check. One spring
yeah, but
game.
precisely your point. I mean, what is it you're actually paying for here? You're setting a hell of a precedent. I can't remember if it was in the group chat or if I said this to you directly, Ray, but like it's not a good look no matter how this falls.
Yeah.
Whether they went like, nah, we're going to push you out the door, right? Fair enough, but you still let him in the door when you knew, well, assuming that wasn't done in retrospect, that he had issues at Indiana, and you still gave him the chance. So, fool me twice. I get those kind of vibes. But yeah, he's. I hate to use the term damaged goods, but yeah, he's coming in with a big cross on his back, and that's a tough one to get rid of for me. I feel like that you know how QB needed teams get. But again, we'd have to talk about skill set. Do I think he's fundamentally sound enough to get the job done in the NFL? Absolutely. Especially in the right system. We see how that excels for guys like Brock Purdy and guys like Sam Darnold and other guys that I could rattle off, Justin Herbert, products of their system, but serviceable quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with his pro journey. But yeah, if I'm a GM, I'm staying way clear. If I'm buying or selling, I want to give shout out my brother T-Will from One Time for the Fan, because I'm going to borrow this little segment from him called Buying or Selling. So on this one, I'm definitely selling. I do not want Brendan Sorsby. Ray, are you buying or selling?
I'm gonna be selling too. He already cost me $5.5 million, so I'm selling and taking my losses. And I just
Absolutely.
can't believe that they're not gonna go after any of them.
That is a hell of a loss. How about you, Vic? Buying or selling?
I'm selling. Yeah.
Like, I think there's a consensus here. Here we are, three passionate football fans for three different teams, funnily enough. So if you ever need a stronger, one of whom's a rival, hi.
Yeah.
And yet, here we are. So, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I think that it shows the point of this episode. As I say, just taking an hour off and really looking at the state of the NCAA as a whole. And that brings me into something else that we mentioned was a huge factor, boys, and that's NIL. So your name, image, and likeness stuff. So as I said to you, I've got a list of the top 20 here, topped by the Texas Longhorns with $47.9 million, Miami at 44. Then Ohio State, LSU, and Oregon rounding out the top 5. I mean, yes, it's the kind of teams you'd expect to see. And then if I pull up the second page there, you start to see teams like Ole Miss, Penn State, Michigan Wolverines. Shout out to Don, the Oklahoma Sooners. Shout out to young Jaden there as well. So I mean, it's the kind of teams that you want to see in that mix. But what's most startling is the amount of money that they're paying. 30 and 40 and $45 million. It's like, surely there must come a time where we look to put a cap. These kids are millionaires by the time they even come into the league. So they think they are established stars before the real work's truly begun. They feel like they've reached the end of a journey. They've made that money. And yeah, that's a great accomplishment and more power to you. But if you intend to make a career of this, you better knuckle back down. You can't be pulling wishy-washy shit like this. So I feel like it's I don't want to say forever, because permanent's a funny thing in sports, but it's going to put an asterisk above, as you say, above his head, and it's going to be one that is going to be tough to walk away from. And again, he's a serviceable QB, but I don't know if he's going to be a world beater. I feel like if he was technically more skilled, then maybe he'd have the ability to shore up his character a little bit more, if you catch my drift. But he's not talented enough to get away with that, to be 100% candid for me. He's in no way going to enter the league and set it ablaze. At least I don't think so. I have been wrong before, but I don't think he's going to prove to be the guy. And that's just kind of where I'm at with it. So with that being said, and obviously talking about NIL as well, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, you've coached at the high school level, but I know that you guys obviously over there have a more nuanced understanding of the college game than I do. Obviously, you guys understand the FCS level a little bit more as well, and I've been trying. Shout out to my brother Ryan, the historian from over on the Birdcage LLC. He's been trying to get me into the HBCU stuff, which has been incredibly interesting. I've been having fun with that too. But you know me, I'm a football nut, so I'll take any kind of football I can get my hands on. That's just how it is. But how do you feel about the evolution of NIL? I'll start with you, Ray, and then I'll come down to you, Vic. But Ray, how do you feel about NIL? Do you feel like it's time to put a cap on it? Do you think it's getting out of control? I'd like to know your thoughts, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you, Will. I would say the NIL destroyed the NCAA transfer portal. That before you were suspended for a whole year if you transferred away from your university. So if I go to Texas Tech and I want to transfer to University of Texas, before, if I did that, I had to sit out a year, and that prevented people from moving around, because remember, the primary goal of the university is for your education, for you to be a student. Being an athlete and playing in the university is secondary. The universities were not built for sports; they were built for education. They included sports later on for competition and between universities. But now you see it goes to the highest bidder, and those juniors and seniors thinking about going to the NFL draft early are staying back because the money. You're going to make more money as a junior or senior than you would a rookie in the NFL. And so the draft next year is going to be loaded because of that. You're going to have a high quality athletes that have stayed back for NIL money. So it's even changed the NFL atmosphere. It has changed all the way up there. And so eventually you're going to have a cap. Eventually you're going to have some Congress, U.S. government come in and try to make a cap and try to limit how many times a person can transfer, because there's been an instance where a guy went to 4 different schools in 4 years. And so the NCAA has lost their vision of education first, that all of these student athletes, only a few are going to make it in pros. There's only a few NCAA student athletes that are going to make it big in the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, you name it. What happens to those other ones? Those other ones that were transferring here and there, and they're not going to be able to go and play further. What happens to their education? So all of a sudden, the universities are just basically money-making machines. You see that in the SEC. All the big schools are getting together. They want to control. Now you're getting all these Big 12, and they're having who's gonna pull the most money. We want those schools to be with us. So NIL has destroyed it.
To Brock Lesnar, because it was something he said back in the day when he was back at Minnesota. It was something to the effect of, in regards to college wrestling, only so many of these guys. I know he didn't get a degree himself, but he was. I like that he was pushing obviously the kids to get educated. He says only so many get to the Olympics, only so many get to the WWE. For everyone else, the degree is all you have. And I'm sure it's echoed in one of the great movies and the Locher-Room speeches and things of that nature. Some of us will be playing our last snap when you come out of college, that you will never bless a field again. And I feel like that's been lost to a certain extent. You're right. And how do you feel about it, Vic? Do you think NIL is getting out of control? Do you think we ought to be looking to bring this down a little bit? Can we bring this down a little bit?
Yeah, so what I was going to say about NIL, it's about how you know, a lot of NIL is not really NIL. A lot of it is just, you know, pay for play. You know, it's just straight up buying players. I mean, it's just straight up paying them, you know, to play for your school. I thought what it was supposed to be was that the players would be able to take their name, image, and likeness, and profit off of it by doing like business deals, doing like autographs and like m- 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 memorabilia and like merch deals and the endorsement deals, endorsing a product on social media. And you did see a lot of that in the beginning, but then it also just turned into the Wild West. It's turned into all this pay for play and just the boosters just straight up buying people to go to their schools. So yeah, you did mention the government to try to do something. Well, right now, of course, in the Senate, they do have this protect college sports act. We're supposed to do a lot of these things, a lot of the salary caps, and try to stopping all the pay for play schemes and having like the NIL deals that to go through the clearinghouse and stuff like that. So basically, what we were wanting the NCAA to be able to do, but they've been unable to do because they keep losing all these court cases. What's happening is that the judicial branch of the government has been taking a lot of power from the NCAA, stripping it of its power, and now the legislative branch is having to come in and clean it up. So it's like maybe the government trying to take over college football, but to what end, I do not know. But
yeah, that's. I mean, we could. I'm not in any rush to get to bed tonight, but that would open up a whole nother conversation, man. We can go pretty deep with that one. Should kind of a salute to the Celtic brethren. As I say, we are running a nice late one for you guys tonight, but it was an important conversation and one that we felt had to be had. It was time to, as much as we're looking forward to getting into camp next week and talking about all the good stuff that happened in mini camp. The Falcons will have their minute. It's a long off season after all, sometimes too long, admittedly, but they will get their time. It's time to focus on these kids just a little bit. But shout out to you, Floyd. It's good to have you in the building as always. Just trying to get up and running with some new blood.
So you got a channel, Texas Tech man. You got a channel that I can go subscribe to.
Raymond has his own, but he's just getting up and running, aren't you, sir? So I think he's going to be doing a lot of stuff through.
I'd love to come and subscribe to you if you got a channel.
I appreciate you. Will's been recruiting me to come on, but I do have to say, the last 4 games of the Atlanta Falcons season, the fourth game toward the end, it was my first time to be in Will's show, and that day I can't remember who we played, but we won that game. And then the next game we won, the next game we won, the next game we won. So I've been on a YouTube show. We haven't lost yet. I'm 4-0. We lost we won our last 4 games with me on. So I'm like, hey, we got to keep this rolling. You know, I'm like a football, baseball player.
I'm glad you said that.
Superstitious.
I'm so glad you said that in an off-season episode, because see, if you'd have said that a night before a game, I'd have just been like, you know how these birdies do. Don't do me like that, bro. Oh man, it's
but definitely my channel. I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna work with Will, try to get something going. But I'm on Facebook. I've got an Atlanta Falcons Familia Facebook group there. I post Will stuff, his shows, and I do a lot of history of player numbers. I'll go back all the way to 1966, our first year, and figure out who wore the number 1 first, who wore the number 80, and there were some numbers, particularly the 90s, 94s and the 95s. People didn't wear those until the 2000s. It was kind of taboo. You didn't wear 90s. Either it was bad luck or too high of a number. So those 90s numbers didn't appear until the 90s, but to figure out and to see who was the first player to wear the number 18 is just
Yeah.
awesome. So I love doing this. I post a lot of that stuff out. So yeah.
Yeah.
I love this, man. This is what truly.
So my channel, I do have a channel. Yeah, my channel is called VicTube Productions. Yeah, you can see it in the chat there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see
I
it.
mean,
You can see it in the chat there. Yeah.
We really appreciate you coming on, Vic. As I say,
Thank
I've
you.
been trying
Of course,
to.
I appreciate y'all having me on. Yeah.
All to
Yeah, man,
Will.
it's been
All
a
thanks.
hell of a
All
lot
thanks
of
to
fun.
Will. He is a beast. He's done show after show. Before this one, we were doing a World Cup shows. I just love the World Cup, so I can yap and yap and yap all day.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I can talk sports all day, all night, and as I say, I know Vic, you're the same. We've been touching base on and off over the last 4 or 5 years now. It's been a minute, and I've wanted to pay back the service, so I get to do it now and kind of give you the platform too. So well, now we've got the group chat. Just hit each other up and keep the good vibes going. That's what it's all about here on AFNI. So we love it.
Yeah. Of course.
I'm getting some flowers down in the chat. The Scottish Beast. I ain't really got the biceps for that no more, but I'll do my best.
Scottish Beast. Yeah. So the Team USA looking pretty good in the first 2 games. So
yeah, man. Yeah. I thought that it was a nice narrative that the first 2 teams to make the round of 32 are both co-hosts, the US and Mexico. So that's going to be fun. I was hoping Scotland could have joined that list tonight, but unfortunately, we were not quite where we wanted to be. Morocco were the better side, but I mean, I don't want to complain too much about the referees. I hate having excuses. That's what I said in one of the group chats. I'd almost rather be thumped for nothing.
Hear all the Scots are drinking all the beer in Boston. Yeah. They've been running out of beer. Yeah.
We're about to do the same in Miami because our next stop is Miami to play Brazil. So Miami, you've been forewarned if we have any Floridians in the chat. Batten down the hatches.
Coming for you.
I seen the guy who was cleaning up after us and he went, these guys are great. They've really embraced the Boston culture. They've cleaned up after this. They can drink. And it's like, yeah, okay. It's fair enough.
The World Cup has been exciting.
I've had a lot of fun tonight. It has. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more of it. We should definitely try and get on and have some watch parties. You'll be able to meet Dean soon, Vic. He's a great guy from down in London, in England. Obviously, Raymond was on the show with us earlier, and we had a lot of fun. So we're just trying to keep a lot of good shows coming because we know that not a lot of people are busy like we are during the off season. So, as I say, I just wanted to kind of stick out the olive branch and bring us all together because I know it's all hashtags and cheesy one-liners, and you can say what you want about those, but I mean them when I say them. And Wings Around the World was one of the ethoses that I had in mind when I set out with this. So I mean, shout out back to you guys as well for obviously coming back on. And I've got one here. This has got to go. No, not a problem at all, Floyd. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you, brother. Take your flowers on the way out, and we'll catch up with you soon. I think we'll be back on what day? Probably Thursday. No, yeah, next Thursday we're going to be going. I don't know if we have a show on Saturday. If there is, obviously I will keep you boys posted. World Cup's going as well, so we'll do something like that. But I did have a couple of questions I wanted to kind of pose to you in the form of a devil's advocate, so to speak, before we close things out. But I mean, when you're talking about what's the most important to you, I'm going to basically say this. If we were in this position and you are the college athlete, what do you deem to be the least important of these 3 things? Would it be A, a Heisman Trophy?
Wow.
Would it be B, a national championship?
Wow.
Or would it be C, are we all out here just trying to live like Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah, I think that I think that the
Great
Heisman
question.
is the least important.
Yeah, exactly, and it should be as simple as that.
Yeah, I think
So,
that I guess most players would each other win the Heisman or the national championship. I mean, they'll all tell you national championship. I remember one time it was after Caleb Williams had won the Heisman, and he said that winning the Heisman is great and all, but you guys get to play in the college football playoffs. So.
mhm. Well,
Yeah,
that's an interesting point, because I also wanted to kind of talk about some of the propositions for the college football playoff and the future thereof, because I did notice a few kind of interesting but not too exciting prospects for what's to come. And this is something that I think, seeing as this has became a bit of a college football show, we may as well cover it. I've got the picture here, but there's been a proposed new layout for the college football playoffs featuring 24 teams. Now, I will tell you why I don't like this, guys.
too much.
If you go, yeah, I took this a little inspiration from what you did on your show, Vic. It looks pretty, but the problem is, from that setup, you have no conference championships. That's
You're
where
making-
it falls on its ass for me, because then who are best
Yeah, you're
teams?
making you're watering down the regular season. You're making it, less important. You're making every game less important. Is that now? I mean, if you're to 24, I mean, now you could have like teams that go 8-4 still have a chance to make it. So, I mean,
Yeah, you again, it boils down to that word you said earlier, credibility. And again, it's not going to cause me to not watch college football if they do make a 24 team playoff.
I'll still watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, right now, like the FCS. I think they do a playoff with 24 teams. So
I like the
I think, is
format.
the FCS not bigger by talent pool? Do they not have more than 130 something teams? They've got quite a few more, don't they? FCS.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how many.
I think there's about
teams
130
they have,
something. You're about right.
Yeah,
130 something teams.
which I think is about. So I think it's about the same as the FBS. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's constantly a couple of teams switching. Because I know Delaware's just joined.
Oh wow.
ND State's not long joined as well.
Yeah, they're the FBS. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, North Dakota
and
State
there's been no teams like relegated as yet.
No,
is there?
no one's been bumped down. I think like Idaho used to be in FBS, but they moved down back to FCS on their own. Nobody kicked them out. They decided
'Cause you
to
can
go
correct
back
me if
to the
I'm-
FCS. Yeah.
Okay. Because you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, there was talk fairly recently in the last couple of years that UConn and UMass were on the brink, so to speak. I don't know if you guys heard or saw anything of that nature, but it was I did see it teased somewhere in the media that UConn and UMass, because they're quite small, or they're obviously northeastern universities, there's a lot up there, a lot of obviously bigger schools and things of that nature, that they were going to push them down to FCS level. But again, it's not something that I've seen come into play.
UMass.
So I don't know.
UMass went and joined the MAC. So
Okay.
yeah, I think they were independent, but now they're in the MAC. So
Nice.
There's your answer. They now have a bit of conference support, so that'll be able to get them a bit of back in that way. Okay. No, it's good to know. As I say, I want the FBS to be strong and obviously keep being the feeder that it is for the NFL. But at the same time, there's some issues that really need to be addressed in the league as well, because I mean, the contracts are getting out of hand. We go back a long ways. I mean, even myself, I've only been watching the Falcons since, well, this will be my 20th year. But over that stretch, I did not ever consider a time where we would be considering paying a receiver $35 million a year.
Yeah.
It's you look at the figures and it just boggles the mind, and you almost forget like it was simple. It seems so much simpler, but then you look at the salary caps that have raised, and I think at last check, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure the salary cap for 2027 is like 308 mil, something like that.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
Can you imagine $25 million or $35 million to one player now? $35 million maybe in the 1980s was your whole entire roster.
Yeah,
that was your whole payroll for your roster in 1980s. In the early 90s was 35 million, you know.
It's crazy because I can sit here and go like, you know what, give me 5% of that and I could make so many changes to this channel, man. You guys would not believe. So many bells and lights.
We're all
and
moving to Scotland.
Sirens and boats.
Sirens. Costumes.
Oh, you know it. Like I was this close, man. I literally was going to buy, you know, the really ugly, ironic Christmas jumpers.
Oh yeah.
I was totally going to get like a Falcons one for over Christmas just to mess with people. But
we should do it anyway, man. Let's make them for Christmas.
just for fun. Like, why not?
Ugly sweater, ugly Atlanta Falcons something.
Let's do it. But yeah, I mean, let's kind of sum it all up then and bring it home. So, I mean, in summary of everything we've discussed, obviously, we may run this back and get a sort of second round once Winston's ready, Ray. But, I mean, as I say, it's been good to kind of get your feelings on it. I know it's something you're passionate about because you teach these young kids and you're obviously trying to get them prepped to go and push down this road. So it does give you a lot of pause for thought. But with all this combined, do you feel like this could be the death of college football, or do you feel like it's just a black mark, so to speak? For me, I've lost a bit of respect, but I can understand that they're trying their best to be diplomatic. The only thing that pisses me off is, as you say, it's like throwing a man on hunger strike into a steakhouse.
Yeah, it's college football is going to survive. It's got a great history. It's got great programs, but you can see these big conferences like the SEC is really trying to control the narrative and getting all these big schools with the big money and trying to get them all in one conference. Before, in the 80s and the 90s, all the big teams, they were everywhere. They were all around the nation. They were not all condensed in one conference. And now you're hearing this talk about the SEC wants to separate, go outside of the NCAA, create its own. Changes coming on. There's no telling what's possible, but college football will survive. There's so much alumni, so much money involved, TV deals. There's so much billions of dollars in college football, that's never going to die. But
video game industry's finally cashed back in as well. I know it's been a long time, but as an OG NCAA 14 player, it's been a long time coming. But it's great to see college sports get the right investment, but it has to be the right investment. I don't want it to go into one of these strange, pardon my French, fucked up offshoots that we've seen, completely dystopian in places. But
the worst thing that could happen to college football was allowing gambling in college football games. And as soon as the NCAA said you can gamble on all of our college sports, I think that's when they lost their soul, because the root of all evils, money.
Yep. It's also a powerful thing, and you know what they say about power and corruption, right?
Yeah, they go to hand in hand.
Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So
look at that.
But yeah, brother, I mean, it's been great kind of chopping it up with you boys.
Same here, bro.
Before we shut it out, I think I've got everything pretty much that I wanted to cover. There's no one in the chat right now for Q&A, so if any of you guys have any last minute talking points, I'm going to shout out the guys who have been in the chat. Just to let you know, if you haven't been present on the show, this is our time for a little bit of self-promotion, because your boy has been busy out here grinding Saltire Vampire night and day. We want you to be a part of the Kilted Revolution into season 2 and beyond. If you're interested, please give myself, Dynamo Des, obviously Brother Ray, Brother Vic, or Miss Maggie T, if you're over stateside, a shout. Just give us a shout on the socials. I'm available on X at Will Waddle, WADL. You'll also find me on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. I'm back on there as well now. So give me a shout if you want the conversation to continue, because we're always looking for new panelists around the world. And we are now looking to expand into una nueva idioma. So there will be some content coming down the pipeline en español también. So,
Muchas gracias. Estamos listos.
sí. Es
Culero,
no problema, mi
culero.
Viva Mexico. Yes, sir. So what I'll do before I sign off for the night is pass it back to the boys and let you all know where they can catch them. So Ray, thank you very much, man. Double header. Thrilled to have you as always. And as I say, we're going to be talking. We had a little chat in the back about what's to come. So you and I are not finished by a long spot, my boy. But if they want to keep the chat talking, where can the chat coming? Where can they find you?
You can find me here with Will the Thrill. That's where you'll find me. I have a Facebook page, Atlanta Falcons Familia. Love you to join. But yeah, you'll find me here with Will the Thrill.
Much love, my boy. And as for you, Vic, let the people know. I know you shouted yourself out earlier on in the show, but let them know.
So I do have my YouTube channel, Vic2 Productions. Yeah, you can see it at the top of the chat. So yeah, if y'all want to sub me up, I'd appreciate it.
Sounds good, brother. Yeah, keep the love coming. And yes, indeed it is. A nice shout out at the end of the show from Mad Mike Sports. Hell yeah.
What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike?
We got a lot of secrets, man. You boys been grinding and making some contacts and some friends out here in some high places. As you say, I admit that I was never quite the player that I wanted to be, but I'm a hell of a talent scout. So to that note, I will keep the hits coming. And Vic, like as I say, if you're happy to keep coming back on, brother, we got a lot of good content planned. So hopefully we can come to call you one of our frequent flyers too, and we can see you more often.
I'll be back. Yeah.
Hell yeah. That Arnie sign off. That was lovely. He'll be back.
The done show.
Everything's good, Mike. We've been pouring the midnight oil, so to speak. So we had the Scotland-Morocco disappointment a little earlier on. We were going to get into some obviously some college football, the betting scandal, NIL, all that good stuff. But you know what, brother? We still have some time. We don't have to sign off. If you have some thoughts about the Brendan Sorsby situation, you're more than welcome to jump on.
That's all right. I'm getting tired. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
No problem,
brother. For bed now. So.
No, you're welcome to jump off, brother. I just wanted to obviously make sure we took the chance to show you all your love. But we'll catch up with you real soon. Thank you for hanging.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. Yeah.
Have a good one, Vic.
Good night, brother.
All right, see y'all.
Was going to say to you as well, Mike, I mean, we don't have to go if you've got time, Ray. So if you want to jump on, Mike, and let us know what you're feeling about the situation.
Absolutely.
I'm going to redrop that link real quick.
While Will's getting kind of ready there, everybody, Will's been a Dracula. He is just a Dracula. He's got pints of just that true blood in that refrigerator. He calls it coffee, but I believe that's is pouring in that cup.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask why it's red. It's those high mountain beans. that ain't no blood. But nah, Mike, the link's in the chat. We're just having fun with it tonight, my brother. I wanted to make sure that we got some testing done because, to be honest, tech had not been to my fault. Tech had been not handling itself too nicely for me.
No,
but it seems to be holding on now. So it's good to finally be able to get back on the shows, especially with the World Cup and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I know that you all obviously had a couple of messages that you wanted to send as well in regards to what you've been doing. I know you've been very active in the community as well. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in regards to gun violence, because I know that's something that's very close to your heart. And something that you knew was a principle of, obviously, you coming on the show, you wanted to spread the word. So I'm going to, again, leave you the floor, my brother, and let you talk about that, if you would.
Will, you're just an amazing host, man. You just know the background of everyone, and you know that I'm a founder of the National Education Against Gun Violence, and it's a worldwide organization. These national education organizations, they can go in any country. So I developed the organization to be worldwide, that every nation can have this organization, because gun violence to school age children 1 through 18 is the number one cause in the United States for their death. So again, ages 1 through 17, the number one cause of death is gun violence. And so as a teacher, I lost many students over a short period of time, and it was hard for me to overcome it. So I built this organization to give some awareness, to give solutions, to give teachers awareness, what to look for, to allow schools to look at risk kids, how to develop mentor group programs so that we can find out who's at risk, who's been bullying, who's have these characteristics of bringing guns to schools. And so I developed mentor programs for boys and mentor programs for girls that allowed people to talk. And they talked about gun violence and gun violence experience, and family and friends of theirs that have been shot. And what we found out was students had more in common than they realized, because they lived in areas where there was high gun violence. And, oh, you live here and I live there too. So students made connections. And what we found out too with these mentor groups is that gun violence started to reduce. We were able to intervene. We were able to talk. And when students gain the trust of the faculty, they will come and tell you, so and so is doing this or so and so is doing that, so that you have interventions, because no one should lose a life when you're going to education and you're going to school. And so the US and their love of guns is just amazing, that we're allowing assault weapons to be purchased by 18-year-olds. And so you can have a junior or a senior that has maybe failed high school, and they could be 19. So they're 18 as a junior, they're second to their last year. They could be 19, their last year of high school. For 2 years, they're able to buy a weapon. They're able to buy handguns, assault weapons. And so I think it's a course for us to be aware of how we're allowing 18-year-olds to handle these weapons. And I understand if you go to the military, you're 18 years old. That's an environment they're going to show you, and you're going to be trained. But 18-year-olds right now don't have the mental capacity to be able to handle a weapon. And so I've pushed for the age increase to weapons, to purchase of weapons, to 21. But actually, I think it should be 24 years old, because at 24 years old, you have a better head on your shoulders. You're able to handle a weapon. You got training. And so weapons for me, they were for hunting. You know, I hunted as a young kid with a 22. I've hunted with a shotgun. I've hunted with a 30-06. I've fired pistols. But as a young kid, I was trained by my father how to handle those weapons. And so I knew how to handle them and be appropriate. And so we have accidents where a student will go to another student's home. They'll bring out a pistol. And the first thing you do is you put your finger right on the trigger just by grabbing it, because you think it's a handle, and then slight pressure, it fires. And we have accidents where 8-year-old kids are being shot by accident. And so how do we bring gun education safety into schools? And so that's a big part of my work that I do, Will. That's my passion, and I'm going to keep working on it. And I appreciate you for giving me a floor to explain. Thank you so much.
Of course. And I mean, I feel like there's only so much I can input to that, given that in Britain we are looser with the gun laws. We don't have a constitutional amendment that way, the way the states do. So outside of the armed police, you're not going to see a lot of guns. Obviously, there are illegal guns and things like that in Britain. But 9 times out of 10, predominantly, there's a lot of knife crime in the UK. But switch the weapon, it's a similar story. The kids are too young for this nonsense.
Yeah.
and I don't want to obviously get into anything that bogs us down into a world of politics. That's not kind of our forte, but no, I appreciate it completely where you're coming from, because it's especially important and kind of ties back into the whole college football argument, because a lot of these boys and girls will see college sport as an escape, because if they can make it to the league, they can make it out of these environments and these situations and things of that nature. A way out from obviously that abject misery in a lot of cases. But they need to remember that this at times goes beyond being a sports show, because we try to talk about some real fucking topics as well. So on the purpose of that, I mean, Des and I have said it before, if you are out there and you are struggling, please don't be afraid to send us a message.
Amen.
Hit us up or drop a chat. You have friends here,
Yes.
and we would rather you ask for help than we hear we would rather read your help message than your obituary, to be quite candid. That's just how it is.
Yeah, if you're feeling lonely, you are not alone. There's help. I've had struggled 40 years with anxiety. I've struggled 40 years with depression. I've struggled 40 years with suicide. As a 13-year-old, that was the first time I wanted to kill myself as a 13-year-old. And how can that be possible? Well, it's the environment that I grew up in, with the lack of support, and I was abandoned a lot as a child. And so our childhood can really affect our adulthood still. And so, yeah, if you're out there and you're struggling, you're not alone, brothers and sisters. You reach out to somebody, family and friends. You come on and you chat with us. You get on the chat, and we can discuss self-help. We can discuss mental wellness. We can discuss solutions, things that make you feel better. I can give you personal stories of my own struggles and how I overcame them, because it seems like I've gone through everything under the sun. And so I can speak to depression, anxiety, suicide. I can speak to students having those too. So definitely you're not alone. You need help. We are here. There's all kinds of people that are around you. You can never feel alone, never feel abandoned. You come to us and we'll definitely support you. There's a lot of love in this Atlanta Falcons nations, in the brotherhood that we have, in the sisterhood. And we all struggle from those. There's no secret. We all have our little things that we deal with life, and we all have our vices. What do we use, and what things that help us get through life? And so we're definitely here to help you.
And as we say, that's a good segue back home to AFN as well, because our sister from another mister, the First Lady herself, Miss Maggie T, she is herself a mental health coach as well. So I mean, you can't ask for better help than that. So if you don't want to trust your boys with it, take it one step higher and hit up your girl. But yeah, the case in point remains that if you need help, obviously reach out, tell somebody, and while you're at that, tell them while you can how much you love them if you do. And in the meantime, we're gonna close it out. But before I do, man, take your flowers. As I say, double header. It was thrilling to have you back. As I say,
Of all of this, Will was the one that was the beast. He was the doubleheader. He does show after show after show. So it is definitely Will, the one that is doing all of this. And Will kind of disappeared, but definitely closing out the show for the Scottish Falcons, man. Clydeside, Stateside, grab your kilt and your whistles, man, because Will the Driller is the man, and he is the real deal. So if you're able to catch on and come chat with us, you should. It's fun to be with these group of people, and they have definitely helped me in my mental health. Yes, sure have.
Wow, man, thank you so much. I caught the tail end of that there. I may have pressed the wrong button, so I can go back and check that. But
Gotcha.
I really appreciate all the love and support that you've shown at the channel since we got started, Ray. Like,
Thank
all
you,
the
Will.
love, my brother.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, man.
Any time at all. And don't forget, as I say, I will help get you up to scratch as well when it comes to doing your own show. So keep it posted here, ladies and gentlemen, because La Familia Falcon will be taking flight very, very soon. But until then, I will say no more than that. But if you do want to do some dirty birdie work with us, then we want to hear from you. So come earn your kilt, as these guys have done. Raymond, as I say, that one you saw me getting, that one's mine. But if you let me know your tartan and your waist size, I'm sure we can make something happen.
You're going to mail that to me. I know you're going to mail that to me. You're going to mail that. That's my size, my color. It was perfect for me.
You were part of the deal when Des and I made it. You see the tartan behind us. We're trying to get that registered. Funnily enough, a guy the other day I seen on social media has got an official Packers tartan. I left, and it's a Scottish guy. I left the comment saying, Des and I have got the Falcons one planned. Don't you worry about that. Yeah. So, you know your boys are out here working. But ladies and gentlemen, until next time.
Get some rest, brother.
Say, tell somebody you love them. Remember, we love our ATI. AFNI, we love our ATL, I should say. There you go. Showing my tiredness again. And we wish you good night, Dirty Birds. But Raymond, I've got a special favour from you to ask, and a favour back to you, a little present, if you will. Because you've worked so hard tonight, I'm going to let you close us out. So I know you've watched a few shows. You know how this goes.
Oh,
so
yes.
Flash up the closer.
Thank you so much, everybody. Pain is international, but so is passion. Thank you so much, Scottish Falcons. God bless.
You know what, brother? De nada. Y gracias to you too for all your hard work.
Amen. Adios.
Ladies and gentlemen, adios. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.